Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, a question for Finance. I'm curious when the federal government must take action in order to avoid the governor's proposed trigger cuts in this budget. What date?
The way the trigger is currently crafted, the reductions would go into effect on July 1 unless there are federal funds. There is a provision if additional federal funds come in later this summer, those cuts could be reversed. But that's how they would go.
And then in a second question, your presentation in the budget, it proposes utilizing the rainy day fund to help balance the budget.
Yes.
Does this budget proposal foresee making any contributions to our reserves in this fiscal year?
It does not.
Okay.
It does not.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for this opportunity, to the Vice Chair as well, with appreciation to our Governor for his leadership, to our Speaker for this historic convening, of course, to the committee and its staff, and then to our LAO, who does a masterful job in helping to take complex subjects and make it relatable even to those of us that are elected to understand them. I want to just point out that I started my elected service during the Great Recession, and I recognize that balancing a budget during an economic crisis will not be easy, nor will it be painless. From spending reductions to pay cuts to revenue hikes, few of the options that we have available to us are attractive. I worry that this proposed budget leaves a structural deficit, depletes the rainy day fund, increases debt and other long-term obligations, and leaves future legislators with even worse options to choose from in the years to come. As we consider how the state will expend its limited resources, I think that we would do ourselves and our constituents a great service if this budget is paired with a robust state stimulus plan that speaks to the need to get Californians back to work. We must explain how our actions in the budget and outside of it will help put Californians on the job, get businesses and communities going again, and grow the revenues that we need to properly service our 40 million residents. First, we must be the proper funding of public education. This is not only an imperative for parents looking to return to work, but it is critical for training our young people to compete in the global economy. They are, of course, our future taxpayers. I share the concerns of our large urban school districts who have questioned the educational funding decisions in this budget and hope that they will be addressed. I think that is also true for the utilization of Prop 56 funds, particularly as they relate to women's health care. Secondly, I've been impressed by the nimble action of state agencies to innovate during these difficult times. In particular, I acknowledge the alcohol beverage control offices who are supporting local businesses by authorizing takeaway cocktails and outdoor dining. Right now, I would just give a shout out to Takeaway Cocktails. Do not take them back, because that is not going to be well received. What other no and low-cost ways can state agencies enact right now to help businesses and Californians get to work? What revenues can be gained for critical education, health, and safety programs by granting such regulatory relief now, not later? Third, infrastructure investment has always been an effective means of economic stimulus. How can state funding be used to maximize the number of projects that can be built in this budget year? How can we be sure gas tax revenues are fully employed by local governments to improve cities and employ more Californians? And finally, Mr. Chairman, we will surely defeat COVID-19. Of this, I have no doubt. But we must not forget that before this pandemic, the most urgent issue facing the state was our homelessness and housing crisis. It was a problem before COVID-19. It'll be an even bigger one after it. Let's craft a budget and an associated stimulus plan that will make significant impact on these tremendous challenges. In closing, I want to just remind both the Governor's office and my colleagues that the Legislative LGBTQ Caucus has a host of requests that are pending before the Budget Committee. I'd point out that our community has survived a pandemic before. We aim to survive this one again, but we hope to do it with the social infrastructure that allowed us to defeat the last one. And there are many funding requests pending trying to address that particular issue. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, to Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to share this input.